I watched this movie because I was looking for another depressive little movie to watch for the Christmas season. The Father, released in 2020 and is directed by Florian Zeller, who also wrote the stage play Le Pierre that this film is based on. And this film is starring Anthony Hopkins, who won a Best Actor Oscar for his portrayal of the father in this film, and it's absolutely deserved. Olivia Colman, Mark Gatiss, Imogen Poots, Rufus Sewell, and Olivia Williams. And the reason why we're talking about The Father today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from one of my contributors and supporters of this channel, Ben Knox. Thank you very much for your recommendation. If anyone else out there also wants to help support me and contribute to this channel, and you have a movie recommendation, you can select the QR code that is in the bottom left corner of your screen right now. Send over your donation with your movie recommendation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out, just like what I did with Ben Knox. And Ben, you know, the last recommendation you sent me was the movie Mass, which was a very great, beautifully performed film, but also a very difficult subject. This one is the exact same thing. It is a beautifully acted film, but my God, the subject matter is so difficult. Anthony is an elderly gentleman dealing with the effects of dementia. There are times where he forgets things that he says and also forgets how people in his life look. So this film is a portrayal of Anthony and his world around him as he navigates through it and tries to make sense of his life and his current living arrangements. I will say personally, I have not dealt with a family member who has suffered from dementia. I know that there are countless others though that have, and this film I would feel is very triggering for them. Now, if you do venture into watching this film, just know that the performances in here are magnificent. They are so natural. It's a very naturalistic film. Even though the happenings in the film and where Anthony's mind takes him feel very surreal. Feels like he's in this sci-fi film where people are playing the same character, but their faces, the actress, keeps changing in and out. Sometimes Anthony will see Olivia Colman play the daughter of this film. Then in another scene, we have the caretaker playing the part of the daughter because his mind can't keep straight of who is his daughter and who is the other people in his life. So this character lashes out, he gets angry, he goes on rants, he becomes insulting. And if you're just a passerby in your everyday life and you see that, you probably think, oh, this guy is a dick, he's a jerk, he's an asshole for everything that he's saying. But this film is to give you a perspective of his mind and where he is coming from. There are sequences in here where he feels like he's living in a complete loop, where he starts off the day and then it just feels like it's repeating constantly, and he doesn't know where he is and he doesn't know who people are. And just put yourself in those shoes for a minute or two, and yeah, I would be angry. I would be scared. I would lash out because I just wanted to make sense of what is going on around me. Again, it's a very difficult film because this is being told from Anthony's perspective, or at least we think it's being told from his perspective. It could be told from other people's perspectives all throughout. I don't know, the film's very ambiguous with that, but I get the sense that this is really being told from Anthony's perspective, and he's trying to make sense of his world. And Anthony Hopkins, who plays Anthony, is just tremendous. He is magnificent here. You feel like this role was written for him. Those are the best types of performances, when you see it on screen and you think to yourself, no one else on this planet could play this role. This was Anthony Hopkins and no one else's. He does a great job of showing the rage, the confusion, the fear that this character has. He's set in his ways. He has the things around him that he likes. He is in the environment that he knows. But then when we get to how this film ends and you see this character break down to the point where you think that he's just a little child. He's calling out for his mommy, which is the climax of this movie. It is a heartbreaking, beautiful scene. It's one of those scenes that if you're playing the highlight reel for the actor at the Oscars, this is the scene that you choose from. But to see him go from being confident in himself or confident of who he is and where he wants to be, to just crumbling down to being this elderly infant calling out for his mommy. Like, I didn't know how to react when watching it. I felt like I should be crying, but I'm just also I'm mortified because there are so many people out there with this disease that feel the same way. There are moments where they just forget everything. And as a person taking care of them, people on the outside, I feel for them too, because you have to watch this person slowly deteriorate over time. And that's, there's so much pain that goes into watching a soul that you've loved over several years just slowly die over many years. And it gets to a point where you see the suffering and you love them so much that you just want the end to happen because you don't want them to suffer anymore. You see what it's doing to them. So Olivia Colman, who plays the actual daughter of Anthony, is also magnificent here. And the film does a great job of just showing all emotions from both sides, from the person who actually has the disease to the people who are taking care of the person who has the disease, because really the disease affects everyone. Maybe Anne is not suffering from dementia herself, but she's feeling the effects from watching her father deal with it and trying to help him out. The rest of the cast does their jobs well here. How Zeller is able to write them in and out and how they just flow continuously all throughout this man's mind is beautiful. This is a beautifully written film. Of course, it's based on a play, so if it's a play, you know it's well written. Or I feel like that's what it has to be, because when you're in a play, when you're in a straight drama like this, you have to have great dialogue and you have to have great story. And then when you adapt that into film, really all that dialogue and everything should transfer pretty well to the screen, which his dialogue does, and just the subject matter is so timely. And this came out in 2020, where all of us were living in fear of a global pandemic. So to see this film and someone living with another type of disease that is very scary, this film affected a lot of people back then. I was actually afraid of watching this movie. I didn't want to watch it back in 2020 because it just felt like I didn't want medical stuff in my life of everything that was going on. But it's a beautiful, wonderful film. I don't know how the rewatchability is for this. I don't know if I could go back and watch this movie on a regular basis. I don't have a craving to go back and watch this. And that's not to the detriment of this film. This film is directed beautifully, acted beautifully. It's just a subject matter that is so tough. And this is coming from a guy who doesn't have any family members dealing with dementia. I can't even imagine how someone who has gone through this with a family member, why they would want to go watch this movie, other than seeing just tremendous performances. Brian Knox, thank you so much for recommending this film. It got me to actually watch this because I have owned it for several years. I've just been afraid to. But it's a beautiful story. I guess this is based on a play that is part of a trilogy, a play trilogy. And I guess The Son came out last year, and I would assume that he's directing his third play, The Mother. I would assume that's being made. You can't start a trilogy and not complete it, damn it. So I feel like I'm gonna have to eventually watch The Son and then The Mother, or whatever that third play is called eventually, whenever that one comes out. But The Father is a terrifically dark, horrible watch to watch along with. I'm gonna give The Father 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
It's good. It's good.
So guys, if you've seen The Father, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.